a new Bachelor in Paradise promo promises more romance and a whole lot of drama. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We have new details on what we can expect this season in Paradise, but before we get into this trailer, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. Mariah, we have seen the first episode of Paradise, and I have to say, I thought it was certainly worth the wait. What were your thoughts after week one?
Definitely worth the wait. I was honestly surprised, which they mentioned a couple times during that episode, was how literally everyone made out with somebody at some point, which, I mean, we see more of that, I feel like, on Bachelor in Paradise than The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. Like, some people kind of tiptoe into the experience, but not the case here. Everyone was like, I feel like everyone already knew who they wanted to, like, have a moment with or kind of connect with right out of the gate, but they were playing very coy and they didn't, like, show all of their cards immediately. But I was like, okay, this is a season that we've been waiting for. I mean, let's not waste any time because we've had 2 years since the last Bachelor in Paradise, and I myself am ready to start seeing the ball rolling.
Same. I am ready for the romance, ready for the drama, and this new trailer definitely gives us an idea of what we can expect in the coming weeks. Let's just get started checking out these clips. Let's roll the first one.
Shocking drama!
Come with me, Daddy.
And some crazy
Take it home!
that you won't believe.
Oh my goodness. Just right there is so much to unpack. Of course, we knew Thomas would be coming. We knew things would be getting wild. It definitely looks like things are going to go off the rails pretty quick this season. What is your reaction to that, Mariah?
Things already look so wild. This feels to me like a different Bachelor in Paradise vibe. Now, I haven't been watching Bachelor in Paradise for years and years and years, so I don't have a ton to compare it to. But from what I have seen, this already looks like things get so wild so soon. We already have like a level of nudity going on, which we already experienced in the first episode. We already have some like more risque moments, it looks like, just from this clip alone. So my initial reaction is, whoa, what are we going to be experiencing for the rest of the season? Because this is the beginning, like the very beginning. So I have no idea what to expect.
I know. I am right there with you. It definitely feels like it's going to be new. It's going to be fresh. We, of course, have the addition of all of these celebrity hosts coming in and out. A lot of fans were actually really enjoying David Spade last week. We can hear Little John in this promo. Definitely have more twists and turns and excitement to come. Let's check out this next clip.
It's gonna be the greatest summer ever! Because this season of Bachelor in Paradise
Not bad.
is like nothing you've ever seen before.
So, Mariah, it looks like they're definitely going to be giving them some funky challenges, dates. We saw them weightlifting there. And it also looks like people are coupling up pretty quickly, which again, we sort of saw in that first episode. We see Lance Bass here, which I feel like is going to be so fun. What kind of stood out to you from these clips?
I would say the fun dates that it looks like they have planned already. I mean, that's like the biggest way I feel you can form a bond. You can connect with someone on the beach and have conversations, but participating in some type of activity with somebody, it's like, it's going to tell you if you guys really have a solid bond or if there's kind of something missing. So that's what I'm so excited about for next week's episode, just looking at this clip alone. I gotta also say, just hearing Lil Jon in the background is giving me MTV vibes, which it's just another spin of why this season of Bachelor in Paradise is so bizarre to me, but also very exciting because we're going to have a new twist to things.
So Mariah, it definitely seems like from what we saw last week and what we're continuing to see in this teaser, people are coupling up, connections are forming, but already we are seeing some of the connections formed last week be thrown into jeopardy. It looked last week like Aaron and Tammy had kind of found a bond, but in this teaser, we of course see him with Serena, and Brendan was a hot commodity on the beach last week, and it looks like he may be kissing Demi this coming week or in the weeks to come. She came in very hot, said she was ready to steal people's men. What are your thoughts on all of this craziness happening right out the gate?
I mean, in the nature of this show, you have to kind of grab someone and try to form a connection with them because it's contingent. If you get to advance in the show, it's contingent on if somebody gives you a rose. So you have to form connections with people, even if that means, stepping on other people's toes and putting yourself in front of somebody who's already kind of formed a connection. Someone like Demi, we knew she was going to come in and stir the pot big time. She was just going to take her pick of anybody. It didn't matter if they were already coupled up. So we're going to see that. I think, yeah, obviously we see it right now with Brendan, but we're going to see it happen over and over and over again throughout the season, just because that's the name of the game. From what I remember Tammy being kind of a more controversial person, as well as Serena, but also Aaron. Like, that is no news to us at this point. So it's interesting to see that he has formed connections with two people who were kind of more controversial. He was always quick to kind of say something and speak his mind, and he wasn't afraid to be in the midst of some drama. So it's interesting to see him form those connections. But like I said, like, you have to play a little bit dirty to be in Bachelor in Paradise. You have to put yourself first. You have to play the game. So far, this is to be expected.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. And that's a really good point. You're onto something there. Like, Aaron is already linked to two women who we know are not afraid to speak their mind. And he himself is not afraid to stir the pot. So that love triangle could be explosive in the weeks to come. We certainly know more love triangles are going to continue to form. Let's see what we can check out in this next clip.
When you come into this experience, you could actually fall in love.
Abigail?
Oh my goodness. So Joe was certainly struggling week 1. We did not see him commit to paradise or even have a real smile on his face until Serena and him made their connection at the end. He and Serena certainly found their stride by the end of last week's episode. Definitely seems like things are continuing here. Yeah, and Mariah, it's hard to even tell from this clip, right? Like, she's smiling, she's kind of laughing, but does that mean she's totally in on the joke and they're all friends and this was funny? Or does it mean that it's gonna ruffle some feathers? Only time will tell. Certainly looks like Serena and Abigail have a pretty solid friendship, and we know that there's going to be some bumps in the road for Serena and Joe for a whole other reason, which we'll probably get into in a few clips here. So let's keep moving. Let's keep looking at what this trailer shows is on its way.
Love is everywhere.
I've never felt so good about someone. I just really love the way you make me feel.
I was not expecting us to have the connection and the laugh.
So again, some early connections. We saw, of course, Connor and Marisa find each other week 1. They had quite the makeout sesh. And then there is the intrigue between Trey and Tahzjuan, and of course, Trey's uncle. But I don't know. I was kind of into Trey and Tahzjuan, and it does look like here they're going to be having a real conversation about, is that too weird or can they overcome it? Because they seem to be falling pretty hard for each other. What were your thoughts on the uncle of it all last week, Mariah?
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. I mean, what are the odds? And I thought it was interesting that they ended up like kissing and forming a kind of connection. Like, I don't think if it didn't bother them before, I don't think it's gonna present to be an issue in the future for them. I mean, maybe after the show and when she meets the family and she has to come over and like, oh, hey, nice to see you again. That could be awkward. But I don't think that's going to be an issue for them during, I don't think we're going to see that play out during Bachelor in Paradise. I think if it was going to be an issue, they wouldn't have kind of entertained the idea of each other to begin with. So I'm sure it's going to come up in conversation, but I see it being more as like a joking matter, because from how she's kind of presented it doesn't seem like she had a relationship with his uncle. It was like one date, and it sounds like it was maybe kind of a flop. There wasn't really anything there, but I don't know. We need more information. We need more context on this date with his uncle.
Mariah, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but Trey hasn't revealed all of the details of what his uncle and Tahzjuan's relationship looked like, but he did reveal his uncle. His uncle is a doctor. Bachelor Nation certainly thought his uncle was attractive. A lot of people want to get to know this uncle more. So who knows what will become of Trey's uncle in Bachelor Nation? He certainly seems to be a hot topic amongst fans. We also notice in this clip, if you take a close look at who is kissing right there on the beach, it is actually Thomas and Becca, which I think a lot of us have been anticipating if you caught any early spoilers. But of all, for Thomas to be the guy that wins over Becca on the beach, I think a lot of fans, a lot of Becca stans out there are a little nervous about these two. What are your thoughts on Thomas and Becca hitting it off? We, of course, haven't seen any of their connections so far. Neither of them are on the beach yet, but it looks like they might be arriving pretty soon.
I have no idea what to think of this. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Becca. I remember watching her season, but for some reason, I'm just drawing a complete blank on like kind of her character, her personality, what she's into. But I gotta say, and I hate to be harsh towards anybody, but Thomas he rubbed a lot of us the wrong way because he had some ulterior motives. I don't think he necessarily made his situation any better on the men tell all. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how their connection is formed, how they bond, and what they see in each other. Because right now I'm like, I don't know about Thomas. Like, I feel like if I was on the beach and Bachelor in Paradise, single and ready to mingle, even though Thomas is a fine man, I would be like, no, I'm going to stay away from you. So it'll be interesting to see that love connection formed. Also, going back to Trey's uncle, what if, just to like stir the pot and throw a wrench into things, Bachelor in Paradise ends up giving us a twist and we see Trey's uncle show up on the beaches and maybe he shoots his shot again with someone new or Tahzjuan. Maybe there's some family drama love triangle there. I don't know. I'm just kind of having fun at this point, but there's definitely a lot that's going to go on this next episode.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, you're onto something. I have to say, based on Twitter's reaction to the uncle's reveal, I think producers are probably kicking themselves right now if they didn't make that happen. We also know that there are guys on the beach who do not like Thomas. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see his arrival as well. Let's see what other clues we can pull out from these next clips.
You're the second girl I've ever loved in my entire life.
My whole life I just believed in fairy tales.
I want someone who wants me and only.
So from that short clip, we're seeing more of Brendan and Demi, Serena and Joe really taking things to the next level. I mean, look at how happy he is to tell her she's the second woman he's ever loved. And Mariah, it looks like Abigail and Noah's connection is going to continue to blossom. So that is two early connections that look like they're going to be potentially going the distance. What are your thoughts on these couples?
Well, I love Serena and Joe. I really do like them. It looks like it's very mutual. I mean, we don't know if she says I love you back. We don't know that. But I go back to her on Matt's season and I remember her being a little bit more, I don't want to say introverted, but she definitely took things slower. She wasn't comfortable with a lot of PDA. I don't know much about Joe, but it kind of seems like he is on the same wavelength. So that could be a reason that they connect and have such a good kind of vibe with each other. Now, this may be a hot take. You guys have to let me know in the comments. Noah and Abigail, super cute. I see it. Totally see it. But I can't help but feel that both of them are like, someone else could come down those stairs and I wouldn't be opposed to getting to know them. I don't know if I see them making it through the entire season. So that could be a hot take. I love the both of them. I don't have anything nasty to say about either one, obviously, but I kind of feel like this isn't going to last. I don't know.
You know, it might be a hot take, but I am kind of right there with you. I think their first date was definitely charming, but there were a couple of bumpy moments, at least for me. You know, if you remember, he mentioned it was going to be hard to take things slow, and she was like, well, I take things slow, so what are you saying? Like, they definitely made their way through the day and had a happy ending, but I kind of feel like they could be tempted if a better connection comes along. I'm also very supportive of the Serena and Joe of it all. It seems very genuine. They seem very happy. I cannot wait to see what leads up to this moment of him telling her he loves her. Again, that very brief tease we got of Brendan and Demi, I have to say, I'm not super here for it. Maybe once we see how this connection is formed, I'll be on board, but knowing that these two are going to get together in the weeks to come so far, I guess, doesn't have me thrilled. Maybe that's a hot take. We're full of hot takes today. Let's keep going with these clips and see if we get any more major teasers.
We got Bachelorette, Becca here to find love.
Every single time I see you, I get so excited.
Thomas seems so good to be true. I can't stop smiling.
All right, so right there we got our first glimpse of what Becca and Thomas's connection might look like. And I have to say, Mariah, I immediately honed in on her saying it seems like he's too good to be true, because that's what we all really struggled with on Katie's season. Is this guy for real? Is he just saying what people want to hear? I don't know. I just feel like this to me is a little bit unfortunate. I don't want her to fall for someone who's not being genuine. Obviously, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but to hear her say that felt like a little bit of a red flag to me. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I felt the exact same way. It's all too familiar because it's like that was something a lot of people mentioned. You know, the guys in the house, even fans, are like, he's too good to be true. He's just telling us like everything we want to hear, anything that you would want to hear of someone who could potentially be the next Bachelor. That's obviously ruled out. Sorry, Thomas. I'm sure he's aware at this point, like he's not going to be the next Bachelor probably ever. I don't think anybody would be okay with that. So it's hard for me to understand his intentions going to Paradise. It's like, okay, well, if he's not going to be the Bachelor, then maybe he really is there to find love because he had a secret agenda on the Bachelorette. He didn't really even give it a shot, which I don't know. I'm not Thomas, so I don't know if that was really his MO. Maybe he really is there to find love, or maybe he just wanted some extra screen time. But I feel like I'm leaning more towards, though I don't really have the softest opinion of him, I am leaning more towards the fact that I don't know what else he could gain other than screen time. And Becca is a phenomenal woman. She's beautiful. She's so impressive. So it would make sense that they would form a connection. But her saying he seems too good to be true is definitely a red flag. Because if I've learned anything in my years, when things seem too good to be true, sadly they are. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, if he's being genuine, if he can maintain whatever he's putting on. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I'm really curious out of the two of them, you know, who's going to approach who, right? Who's going to get there first? Are they going to make other connections before finding each other? I feel like for some reason, it won't sit well with me if a former Bachelorette shows up and Thomas just beelines to her and is instantly like, we're in love, we have a connection. Because obviously she has such a high social status, you know, following in the real world that like that could seem a little opportunistic if it doesn't happen very organically. I have to say, you know, people have sympathized with Thomas, and when he revealed to the world that he did have some thoughts of potentially coming the next Bachelor, there was a little part of me that was like, I don't think anyone has gone on this show and not understood that that is a possibility. You just stuck your foot so far into your mouth that we can't root for you now. Even if this is, you know, an unspoken reality for other contestants, you spoke it, right? So listen, maybe he really is there to find love. Maybe he just messed up royally on Katie's season. Only time will tell. Let's see what else this trailer reveals to us.
You make me really happy. I know what I want. I came here to find my person.
The main course is served.
The purpose of being here is to find love. All I really need is
Mariah, it looks like from what we see here, we're definitely going to be getting at least one engagement, one proposal this season, which is very exciting. Based on if you look very closely, we can see some tattoos in the background there. So that could be Mari and Kenny. We also saw in that clip their relationship continuing to develop. They were another night one connection. What are your thoughts on these two maybe totally going the distance?
Obviously, I can see this happening because they had a very strong connection right from the beginning. They both had full intentions on getting to know each other. So I can see them going the long haul. It's just going to really be interesting seeing how they navigate the obstacles of what we've already seen in some teasers, a love triangle with Demi. We know that there's going to be some drama there. We've seen some parts of Demi and Kenny making out. So, of course, trouble is ahead in paradise, but I do see them making it through. And yeah, seeing the tattoo, like that's very nitpicky, but that alone tells me, like, oh, I think that's Kenny. And honestly, I don't see it happening with Kenny and Demi. So, I'm going to just root for my girl Mari.
Yeah, especially, I mean, listen, if they can overcome what looks like it might be some serious drama, that could make them both more confident in their decision by the end of the season. So it will be interesting to see where things go for the two of them. We also, you mentioned Demi and Kenny. We saw in earlier clips Demi and Brendan looking happy, but we did get a clip here of Brendan looking pretty serious, maybe even concerned. So we could have some trouble in paradise brewing for him. At the very end of this clip, we also got a super quick flash that teases the arrival of McKenna. She is also from Peter's season. She's very good friends with Kelsey, so it'll be exciting to see if those two end up on the beach at the same time. Lots to look forward to, of course. Let's go ahead and keep rolling. Let's check out the next clip and see what we can pick out from there as well.
I think you're amazing.
Both our hearts just skipped a beat, I think.
I'm riding this high and I feel like it's gonna plummet.
Oh, I can feel the tension in the air.
So the arrival of another celeb. We have Titus Burgess making his first appearance there. It looks like we see Jasenia potentially hitting it off with Ivan. And we see another moment from Tammy and Aaron, with Tammy herself saying, you know, she's a little nervous. She feels like her heart might plummet, I think is what she says. Mariah, what are your thoughts on this clip?
If anything, I think it just confirms that we're gonna get some drama. We're gonna get people stepping on others' toes because they wanna, shoot their shot with somebody that's kind of already coupled up with someone. Again, that's the nature of being in paradise. It's paradise, but obviously it comes with its struggles, especially in the love game. So this clip just tells me that, connections are gonna continue to be formed. Toes are going to be stepped on. Feelings are going to be hurt and obviously grow in advance. It's going to be interesting seeing how, because this always happens, right now, obviously, given the first episode, we see what connections are formed. We see who's kind of coupled up, but that's going to change. I mean, there's going to be a major shift in those throughout the season. So it'll be interesting to see how things kind of play out and who ends up developing relationships with other people.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all of the early connections from night one, and there were a lot of them, there is just no way on earth that all of those make it through all the way to the end. So we've got to kind of pick and choose who we're really going to be rooting for from these early days, because statistically, there is just no way that they all work out. And remember, as they send new people onto that beach, sometimes they can arrive with a date card in hand, which means there can be an instant love triangle if they choose somebody on the beach that's already, in a newly forming relationship. That is why we love paradise, constantly keeping us on our toes. Let's check out this next clip.
You know exactly who you want to be with unless you explore those options.
There are no rules in paradise. All's fair in love and war.
Is that Ken?
So Mariah, as we just said, we saw lots of different people in paradise addressing the fact that anything can happen and that there are no rules. But the major standout from that clip is, of course, producers knew what they were doing this season. They are bringing Kendall to the beach. Obviously, she and Joe met in paradise. They had a very serious relationship. They ended up breaking off an engagement. I mean, we saw just last week him really struggling with being back there because it reminded him of Kendall. And now he's found some happiness. And what do producers do? They send Kendall onto the beach. This feels like it has the potential to shatter everything. What are your thoughts? Is this just a mean trick from producers this time around?
This is brutal, especially because most of the first episode, what did we see Joe doing? We saw him sulking and walking on the beach alone and laying on the daybed alone and not really forming any connections. So this is going to be hard to watch. She's definitely going to stir some things up. I don't think that Kendall is going to be walking on the beach wanting to form connections with anybody else because that's just too messy. But we have seen this happen so many times in the past. And even the last Bachelor in Paradise, we saw two people from someone else's past kind of show up on the beach. They definitely stirred the pot. So if that tells us anything, there's definitely trouble ahead. But when is there not trouble ahead and Bachelor in Paradise? I just feel like this is too soon. I mean, he's already feeling all of these emotions being back in paradise. Let him just form a solid connection with someone. I mean, maybe this is good though. Maybe this will be a good show for if he is ready to move on.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like when he first stepped on the beach, he thought he was ready. He even said, I think Kendall and I are in a place where, we can be happy for each other as we find, new relationships. But then we saw him really, really going through it. And I feel like producers had the light bulb moment like, listen, maybe this chapter isn't fully closed.
I don't want to look over and see you and Kendall reigniting your love.
It's not like I'm 100% sure that she's the one.
So Mariah, it seems like Serena P is definitely going to be the person in the middle here. She could be the one that ends up heartbroken.
Oh yeah, which makes me so sad because I feel like, she went and revisited Joe at the end of the night is what it seemed like anyways. So it makes me think, okay, she's had some time to talk with the other men. She wasn't really feeling it and something just kept pulling her towards Joe. So obviously she already has some feelings invested here. I don't think he's the bad guy for saying, I don't know if she's the one because it's so early days. I mean, how can anyone be sure at that point? But I hope that he isn't entertaining the idea of getting back with Kendall and kind of underselling where he is with Serena because we've seen that happen before. It's so hard to watch. And I like Joe at this point. I don't want to be disappointed by him.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Obviously, he's been put in an impossible situation that's hard to navigate, but it's really going to come down to, does he end up being the bad guy because he's not totally transparent with both women? Only time will tell. Let's see what we can find out in this next clip.
I believe that people fall in love and people can fall out of love.
There's definitely a storm coming.
Aaron is ready to.
So trouble potentially brewing in paradise for Aaron. Obviously, we hear a lot of voiceover in that clip of people understanding that nothing is guaranteed, but that's kind of what you sign on for when you go to paradise.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I feel like I would struggle so much in that kind of situation. Because if I had my eyes on anybody, I'm like, I better be the only one you have eyes on too. So that's why you can't enter that environment and expect that to happen because it's only fair that everybody get an idea of how they connect with everybody there. So that's clearly what's happening here. Aaron, though, we know he's a hothead. He's hot-tempered. He's quick to fire. And it looks like this is Thomas, which we already know he doesn't have a good relationship with. So it's like two bad things, two fires combining into one. We've already seen a clip of a confrontation of the two of them on the beach. Maybe this is when it happens. Drama, 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 but that's what happens in paradise.
Yes, it certainly is. And we're getting some foreshadowing here of a Tammy, Thomas, Aaron love triangle, three huge personalities. Two men that already have some drama in their past. I can only imagine what we're going to see play out on this beach. But let's keep going because the drama doesn't stop here. We've got more clips to check out.
She kissed me at breakfast, she kissed you at night.
I deserve some respect.
Don't with me.
I feel so bad. Relationships are going to be tested.
It's gonna get competitive.
So it seems like we were kind of touching on this earlier. Does Thomas connect with anyone else other than Becca? I mean, we're pretty much seeing right there he's guaranteed to. Will this be the end of Aaron and Tammy's connection? Only time will tell. Mariah, this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not surprised because we're talking about Aaron here. And of course, he's really upset. Sounds like Tammy kissed both of them in the same day, and he feels like that was disrespectful. but it's the name of the game. I mean, we've already mentioned this so many times. Like, that's what happens when you go into paradise and you can't to expect something different from somebody. It's just a little unfair. It's a little territorial. I mean, it sucks, no doubt, but that is just what happens. I mean, Tammy looks like she feels really badly about it, which tells me she genuinely likes Aaron and she doesn't want to push him away. So I'm not sure though. I feel like I can't help but think just what I know or how I feel about Aaron's character. He's going to be like, no, moving on. Like, I'm done with that. So we'll have to see what happens because he can be pretty hot headed.
He can. And listen, he's very decisive. So Aaron will have to see what happens there. We also saw in this clip the arrival of Riley. He was a fan fave. So I think a lot of people will be excited to have him on the beach. Looks like maybe we saw him with Marisa, perhaps, who had been hitting it off with Connor. So more elections in jeopardy with new arrivals as well. Let's see what these other clips have in store for us.
I'm kind of worried for Connor now.
You gotta bring your A game or go home.
Kitty has Mari and Demi in a love triangle. It sucks to feel like you're a second option.
So, I mean, Mariah, the love triangles are hitting their breaking point here. It looks like some people are going to get their hearts broken. Some people are going to be the heartbreakers. We heard Riley there saying, play the game or get out. I mean, it is ruthless on the beach.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be to a degree. Now, I can't help but feel like shady to someone who has a strong connection with someone and they've kind of alluded to being very interested, but then they teeter off and entertain someone else. Like, because in the outside world, outside of paradise, that's wrong. Like, we don't approve of that kind of behavior. But in paradise, it's like, what do you expect? Oh, again, I feel so repetitive saying that, but drama unfolds on paradise because of this reason. It's so natural. But the reason why we tune in is because secretly we love the drama and we're all here for it.
We certainly do. And listen, somebody like Demi understood the assignment. She knew what she was coming in for. So it'll be very exciting to see what move makes in the coming episodes. We do have some more teasers here. So let's keep going with these clips.
I feel so stupid.
She's caught in a lie that she doesn't know how to get out of.
I don't trust anybody. I want to go home.
You lied on my face.
So lots and lots of tears there. I know Twitter absolutely honed in on that shot of Abigail crying. You know, listen, people do not want to see Abigail hurt. Honestly, aside from honing in on that, really was struck by this moment between Ivan and Aaron, this confrontation that we're seeing at the end of that clip. It looks like some people who we've only seen a persistent side of might be showing some new colors on the beach.
All I can say is here we have Aaron again in what looks like another confrontation. I mean, I don't know if this is going to involve a woman. Typically these things do, especially in paradise, but it's like, how many more times this season are we going to see Aaron have some type of confrontation with somebody? We saw it so many times during Katie's season. I mean, that's what stands out to me more. There's a lot of tears, a lot of sadness. Somebody already wants to go home. It sounds like next episode is going to be madness.
Absolutely. I mean, we all kind of loved Aaron, or at least I enjoyed, just through like a fans chatting on Twitter perspective, like how he was kind of the ringleader last season, but that doesn't mean that that same energy is going to work out for him or play out as easy as it did for him in Katie's season. So Aaron is definitely one to watch. Let's move on to our last clip.
I'm so frustrated.
This can't really end well.
It all continues next Monday and Tuesday night. Yeah!
So there we have Little John shouting out the fact that we're going to be having 2 episodes, 2 nights of Bachelor in Paradise content because there is so much drama, so much romance. We literally couldn't boil it down to 1 episode a week. which I have to say a lot of fans are very, very excited about, myself included. Mariah, we just unpacked so much throughout this trailer, and we know there is going to be so much more to unpack as more and more episodes premiere. You guys, in the meantime, we want to know your thoughts on everything we noticed in these clips. And of course, we want to know if you guys spotted anything that we haven't picked up on yet. Be sure to let us know all your thoughts and predictions down in the comments. And if you are not already subscribed to our channel, make sure you do. Make sure you ring the bell, because we will keep you updated on all things Paradise. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, by the lovely Mariah Davis. If you want to come say hi, be sure to check out our socials. They're on your screens right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.